What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be talking about magnifiers. We're going to be talking about maybe the best magnifier for the money, the Vortex Micro 3X. Before we do that, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys that we can afford guns and ammo and awesome stuff to review on the channel, so I appreciate that. If you want to help the channel, it's the best way to do it. All you got to do is go to the link in the description and sign up. Also in the description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and click the link and donate to those kids. I also want to thank Optic Planet for sending this magnifier down for review. I like dealing with Optic Planet because I got a buddy who works there, number one, and number two, they actually don't care what I say about a product, so if I get a product from them and I don't like it, I can say it and they don't complain. And finally, I want to thank our sponsor for the video, Sonoran Desert Institute. I like Sonoran Desert Institute because I learned how to gunsmith the hard way. I had to take things apart, tinker around for hours at a time, trying to figure out something nobody taught me. A couple of YouTube videos here and there, a couple of forums and blogs and things like that, and I could eventually figure things out. But it would have been an awful lot easier if there was a professional there teaching me how to do things step by step, like you're going to receive at the Sonoran Desert Institute. If you want a future in gunsmithing, if you want a certificate in firearms technology, or maybe an associate of science in firearms technology degree, if you just love firearms and like to tinker around, the Sonoran Desert Institute is a great way to achieve your goals. The Vortex 3X magnifier does not need any help in the category of being awesome. If you've seen any other videos on this, I think the general consensus is that it's a really good magnifier. And I'll tell you why. First off, it is a force multiplier. If you have any issues or have any thought on maybe shooting past 200 yards, magnification is generally a good idea. Now, a lot of guys will tell you, good Marine can shoot at 500 yards with iron sights. A good military guy can shoot at 500 yards with iron sights all day long. The problem with military qualifications, though, generally, is that the targets are very large, even up to the size of a Jeep, if you've seen anything on 9-hole reviews. And that, to me, is not an actual representation of what you might actually be shooting at with a rifle like this at 500 yards. Probably going to be aiming at a target much smaller than that, especially vitals on an animal or maybe something two-legged. So the reality is not only do you have to hit the target past 200 yards, but you also have to identify what the target is. I've put targets out to 400 yards that were 2/3 size IPSC targets that I literally couldn't even see at 300 to 400 yards, depending on weather conditions, depending on variables such as debris or maybe grass, maybe a tree is in the way, maybe the angle that you set the target out at is wrong, and that's shooting at targets that I put out there that are not moving or shooting back at me. So for distance shooting, I'm a big fan of magnification for a lot of things, including target identification, but also hitting the target is a little bit easier if you can see the target. So a 3X magnifier is a good way to do that without sacrificing the setup that you already have, and I'll explain. If you already have a red dot on your rifle, which is a great choice for anything 200 yards and in, incredibly fast, parallax free, and very lightweight, if you want to add magnification, if you want to add a scope, for example, you would have to remove the red dot completely, and depending on the mount, you might have to re-zero it. That's a real pain in the ass. And then add a magnified optic, like a 1:6 or a 1:4, maybe a 1:8 if you've got all that cash. And then you're going to have to re-zero and all that wonderful stuff. Or you could have a QD magnifier, and you could keep it in your bag or on your kit or whatever you needed the magnification for, and when the time was right, you could just QD it on and off. Now, the Vortex 3X magnifier has one of the better QD systems, which is what I like a lot because I don't always run a magnifier. So if you want to take it off, you simply push this locking mechanism here and then flip the QD mount like that and pop the damn thing off. So you can either choose to have it on your gun or not. Once you pop it back on, though, remember that you kind of have to have it in the right spot. Wow, this is hard to do on camera. There we go. So once you pop it back on, remember that you have to have it in the right spot because magnifiers have a very close eye relief similar to magnified optics. So you're going to have them further toward the rear of the gun. That way you can get a good sight picture overall. The nice thing about this particular magnifier is that it doesn't actually have any switches or anything when you're flipping it out or in. So for the most part, if you're thinking 0 to 200 is going to be what's going on, you can flip it off to the side here as well, and you can still run this left side slick if you want to have your rifle slung, or if you're going to be climbing up a mountain or doing that kind of thing. You won't have anything smacking you here, and with just the flip of your hand, you can flip it right back into place. Now, traditionally, you would have to have some sort of locking mechanism, but Vortex's mount here is honestly the unsung star of the show, because not only does the mount have the QD system, but the mount is actually really tight and really easy to use, so there's no wobble or anything like that when it's out. There's no wobble or anything like that when it's in, and you're not going to knock it in and out by accident. So I really like the mount, and that's why I actually left the stock mount. The mount actually comes with the magnifier, and I like that a lot. So you get an ability to either use it or not, and when you want that 3x magnification, you can have it. This magnifier also has a focus dial here, so you can focus in and make that red dot nice and crisp, or you can make your target nice and crisp. Whichever one's fuzzy, you can unfuzz that bitch real quick. Over here we have adjustment dials. So unlike a lot of magnifiers, this actually has adjustment dials similar to an optic. If I actually have it on screen, I could show you. Wow, I didn't pay more attention. But anyway, it actually has magnification dials similar to an optic, so you actually have clicks there so you can actually hear and feel where you're adjusting your magnifier here. So when you put your magnifier on, the dot is probably going to be somewhere in the area of the magnifier, and you're going to want that centered right in the middle, and you use them in the same way that you would zero an optic. You just look through it and move the things until it's right in the damn center. Pretty easy to do. Another reason why I like the optic is it's extremely lightweight. Coming in with a weight of only 9 ounces, it makes it on par with even the lightest LPVOs. So the lightest magnified optics, low-powered magnified optics, like a 1-4 from Trijicon, for example. This setup with the 9 ounces here and about the 4 to 5 ounces here is pretty much the same as you would get with, like I said, almost the lightest optics. The Trijicon Ascent's around that weight. The Trijicon AccuPoint is around that weight. Even my Collis K6i is one of the lightest 1 to 6 optics, and it's actually significantly heavier than this setup right here. So not only is it convenient, you use it when you want, you can take it off when you want, but it's also super lightweight when you are running it, which is really nice. Now the eye relief is kind of an issue. Obviously you only have an eye relief of about 3 inches, but that's pretty on par for standard optics as well. But it also sits closer to the rear instead of having a lot of weight from your optic out front. So as you're shouldering the rifle and or pistol, you can actually use it longer, you can keep it up longer, and you don't even need Viagra. Also, the overall space that the magnifier takes is a lot less than some of its competitors, for example, like the primary arms, which is a great magnifier for the money, but this takes up a lot less space and it weighs a lot less, and less is always better in my opinion if it has the same function. Now, as far as the prices go, are there better magnifiers out there? Well, arguably no. I mean, the Trijicon is really good as well, maybe even a little bit better than this, but the Vortex actually comes in at a price that's going to be lower than the Trijicon. The MSRP on these is around $400 to $450. However, there's sales all the time, and on top of that, the actual price you're going to buy these for is going to be a little bit cheaper. I've seen these for around $380, maybe even $350, depending on the right day and the right time. So for $350 to $400, even $400 is a great buy for what this gives you. We took this out on the range with the wife and I, and we were able to hit targets 0 to 450, no problem at all with this setup with a 14.5-inch rifle and a 3x magnifier. I mean, it was really no issue. We could have pushed it much further than that. Part of that is due to the optic clarity of this. So this compared to like the primary arms or maybe the old aim points or even the new aim points, the glass quality on the Vortex 3x magnifier is going to be quality enough to where you won't notice it really at all, which is nice because a lot of these look like fish bowls. A lot of these have a blue tint to them or some sort of tint that makes it more uncomfortable and harder to shoot and see the target that you're looking at. I really don't like when optics have a lot of tint, so I run the Aimpoint T2, which is a super clear red dot, and then it would be pretty stupid of me to then put a magnifier on there with a blue tint and then have the issue anyway. So if you have a clear red dot and a clear magnifier, you're going to have a really good and clear sight picture. And like I said, this makes this a very viable weapon then out to and even past 500 yards. So for the weight, for 9 ounces, I'll certainly take that added capability. And lastly, if you're running lower 1/3 like me, it comes with a shim, so you can shim it, or you can run it standard co-witness. So it does give you options right out of the box. The only con I would have is that you have to pay for it. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty impressive little thing, to be honest with you. I just recently got into magnifiers, and I think that this, compared to the primary arms, compared to the Trijicon, which I do have all 3, and I previously had the aim point, I would consider this, for the money, certainly my overall favorite. So I like the usability of it. I like the fact that it does what it's supposed to do without getting in the way, and I like the fact that it's super durable as well. You get into the more budget optic stuff, you drop one once or twice, you might have a crack, you might mess some shit up. With this one, you're going to be pretty solid. With the Trijicon, you're going to be pretty solid as well. If you want one of these, all you got to do is go to Optics Planet and use the discount code HonestOutlaw. If you are interested in awesome magnifier, this is probably the way to go. This or the Trijicon, or maybe the primary arms as well. It will have reviews of all 3 of those coming up in the next few months. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.